Hey everybody, hope everything's going well with you guys today. These are the topics that we're going to discuss. If you're new to the lending platforms or you never used Nexo before, I think it's important that you guys watch the entire video, especially the portion where I talk about how one of my subscribers almost lost $30,000 after he initiated a bank transfer to the Nexo platform. And I'll end the video with the move that I'm currently contemplating. Occasionally these platforms give out these promos charging no fees for loans, and I'm going to show you how I plan to capitalize on that offer. And since I'm talking about these lending platforms and loans, I understand there's inherent risks to what I'm doing. And whether you agree with my strategy, disagree with my strategy, or if you just think that I'm being completely irresponsible with my money, take advantage of the comment section below and use it as a forum for debate and thought exercises. I tend not to be very rigid, so if you guys come up with some good ideas, I'll implement them myself and I'll catalog them here on YouTube so other people can learn from my experience. And help me broaden my reach. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, and again, I strongly encourage you guys to comment down below. With that, let's go ahead and dive into this video. I'm very excited to report to you guys that Cell is finally going to give you guys compound interest. Not only that, but the first Bitcoin that you guys deposit with them will give you guys a 6% yield. And I'm surprised they didn't do this earlier. I was discussing this with my friends in my inner circle, and I told them, I was like, Blockfi gives 6.2% interest on the first 5 Bitcoin that you deposit with them. Most people out there don't even have 1 Bitcoin. So if Celsius was able to do the same thing and adopt the same model and give, let's say for the first half Bitcoin, give people 10%, 7%, not only would they retain their current Bitcoin depositors, but they would probably see an influx of new ones. Other platforms like Crypto.com, you need to have at least 500 MCO tokens. I mean, that's $2,500. You would have to pay $2,500 for the privilege to get that 6%. So from that standpoint, Celsius is definitely better. You don't have to own any Cell tokens. You don't have to spend any extra money. Up to 1 Bitcoin that you deposit with them will earn 6% interest. That's also now going to compound weekly for you. So all the new interest that you get paid on that Monday, that interest will also earn interest the following week. If you follow my channel, you know I have this dollar cost average strategy, plus I also tend to take some of my trading profits, buy Bitcoin for the long term, and put them on one of these lending platforms. I'm going to be sending all my Bitcoin, all the new Bitcoin that I accumulate, directly to Celsius. In my view, if you had 1 Bitcoin and you had to choose 1 platform to put it on, given what the platforms are offering today, I think Celsius is the best place to put that Bitcoin. And with MCO, Crypto.com, with them offering 8% on some of the alts like EOS and Stellar now. And by the way, guys, you have to hold at least 500 MCO tokens to earn that, 8% interest. The 8% interest rate is not available to everybody. But in an effort to retain more of their customers and be more competitive with Crypto.com, I think they should do this with all the tokens. I don't know, for example, let's say for Stellar, the first 10,000 Stellar tokens that you have with them will earn you a yield of 6% or 8%. And I understand that it may not be viable for the staking tokens, but maybe do it with ETH or Litecoin. Number 1, it'll help them retain their users. And number 2, it might encourage some people who are depositing with, let's say, Blockfi or Crypto.com to deposit on Celsius. So they might be able to pick up a few new users. I think the compound interest was the biggest news, but they also did a facelift to their loyalty level. Now Platinum members enjoy an additional 5% bonus interest. Hopefully they make this available to US citizens again, because I did it for a while. They stopped it because of regulatory concerns. But basically, rather than getting paid in like interest, let's say you were earning $10 worth of Bitcoin interest. If you elected to get paid in the Cell token and you were a Platinum member, with today's bonus of 35%, you'd be paid $13.50 worth of Cell tokens. And relative to other tokens in the overall market, Cell's been doing pretty good. And I'm personally a fan of what they're doing. It was one of the first platforms I started using. And if you watch my most recent video on Litecoin, I fully disclose my Cell token holdings. So if you have any interest in finding out how many Cell tokens I hold, make sure you guys check out that video. But hopefully they find a solution to this and it becomes available to US citizens again. Because again, I like what the team is doing and I want to support the community as well. So I wouldn't mind a few months out of the year getting paid in the Cell token. I'm sad to report this, but BlockFi reduced their Bitcoin rates. They went from 6.2% on the first 10 Bitcoin that you deposit with them to 5.1% for the first 5. Obviously it sucks to receive less interest, but it shows you that they're doing their best to remain financially viable. I mean, if I was a CEO, I've never acted in that capacity, but if I was a CEO, I would imagine that one of my top priorities would be not to go out of business and remain financially solvent, right? So from that standpoint, I'm not going to be too hard on them. I think they're doing their best to make sure that they give us sustainable rates. And when volatility picks up, I would imagine that these rates would probably go up as well. But something you guys should be aware of when you guys are deciding where to deposit your funds, just know that rates on most platforms are subject to change. Don't have the expectation of getting the same rate forever. But I've noticed that they've kept the rates on USD stablecoins the same. That hasn't changed. And there's no limit in terms of how much you can deposit. And Litecoin was recently added, and they've been pretty consistent so far with that rate as well. And they have, wealth management tools. And that's the big reason why I'm actually taking some of my dad's money. If you watch one of my past videos, I talked about how I'm potentially going to take money from my 401k and, get and add to my overall crypto exposure. So I ended up having a conversation with my dad about that strategy, and he was actually pretty open to the idea himself. In fact, he volunteered to take, $10,000 out of his 401k and give it to me to manage for him. And by the way, guys, it's not like we're taking out huge amounts. These are relatively small amounts to our overall portfolio balance. So these were pre-tax dollars that went into the stock market, and the stock market has risen quite a bit over the last 4 years. And so we're both basically just taking a little bit off the top. But anyhow, I'm basically going to catalog the performance of his portfolio using the BlockFi platform. My plan is to take $10,000, put it onto BlockFi, and take full advantage of the wealth management services. For example, I can take $10,000, put it onto the platform, and exchange it for Litecoin, Ethereum, or Bitcoin. And on top of that, all the crypto assets and all the dollars that I leave on there are going to earn interest. And I'm going to catalog the entire experience on YouTube. So if you're interested in or looking forward to seeing that, make sure you guys subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when I publish those videos. So I had a subscriber of mine send $30,000 to Nexo to take advantage of their high yield daily compounded interest account. And initially he sent a test transaction of $3,000. That went through, but the subsequent transaction of $30,000, that got lost somewhere. Now I'm happy to report that he got it back. So after 22 days of talking to Nexo and his bank, he finally was able to get that $30,000 back. But I wanted to give an account of his experience because I think we can all learn from it. Now, me and him came to the conclusion that it wasn't Nexo's fault, it was the banks. Now, this is going to sound a little conspiratorial, but I think the banks are going to get their lunch eaten by platforms like Nexo, so they're going to fight back. They're probably going to make it harder for you to send money to these crypto-related platforms, especially platforms that give you a decent yield on your money. And once these crypto platforms get direct deposit, I think that's going to cause real big problems for these banks. So if you're thinking about transferring your fiat from your bank to Nexo, just make sure you do your due diligence and you're extra careful. Also, another bit of information that you'll find useful is that the bank that he was transferring from is licensed in Malta. European intermediary banks are starting to block many Malta SEPA transactions due to their crypto-friendly policy. All that might help explain why this subscriber of mine had issues transferring a large sum of money. So again, I just wanted to share this information with my subscribers so that you can do your due diligence and you're more careful about sending your funds, especially large amounts, to Nexo using banks. Before I move on to my loan strategy, I want to add that you guys got to be careful out there, especially on Telegram. The same subscriber that was, getting this issue resolved with Nexo, who by the way provided excellent customer service, somebody approached him on Telegram with the same name in the email that you see here and asked him to pay a certain amount of Bitcoin to get his issue resolved. And you should expect this. Being early adopters, early users, early investors in the digital asset space, you're going to be seen as honeypots when it comes to these scammers. And currently what I'm trying to do is I'm building a Discord. You guys can message me on Twitter if you guys want to join that. But I'm trying to create a community so We can share information, we can share experiences that we had to help make us more resilient against, hackers and scammers. And again, if you wanted to be part of that Discord community, you want to join in on the chat, just send me a message on Twitter and I'll get you guys set up. Now let's go ahead and end this video with my loan strategy. So you notice here, this is the available credit I can take out on Nexo. I've taken out a little bit already because I wanted to add to my overall position while, this market was on its downtrend. But there's a good chance that it might happen. You're starting to see that with other major alts like Bitcoin Cash. I've saw it, with Ethereum Classic. Not only did it break its downtrend, but it almost broke the high that it made back in June. We have certain alts that are moving up. So I figured there's a chance that we may have bottomed. And guys, I'm not, exercising too much leverage. You guys want to do this with extreme caution because if the trade goes against you, you can lose a lot of money as well. I only use a small portion of my portfolio for this strategy. And on top of that, I also partner with a friend of mine. So that way, if my position requires more collateral, not only do I have a huge cushion because I'm not using a large portion of my portfolio, but I also have my friend to back me up. And the agreement is that he'll be there to back me up. And when I make my profits, I would share those profits with him. Given all that, I figured why not exercise a little bit more leverage. Bitrue is giving this offer. Anybody who deposits at least 2,000 USDT on Bitrue within the next 7 days will be eligible to take out an interest-free loan for the next 3 months. You still have to make the monthly payments, but they would be repaid back to you after a 3-month period. Now, you still have to pay back the interest every month, but it's all going to be paid back to you after 3 months has concluded. You can only take out $917. If in the next 4 days, Bitcoin keeps going up, you see alts rising, and we get a good indication that we've bottomed and we're going to break out of the downtrend, and this balance goes up, I'm going to take out $2,000, put it on Bitrue, buy Bitcoin, and if I do that, I can buy $2,000 worth of Bitcoin, take that Bitcoin and take out a loan on the same platform. So that means that I would give $2,000 worth of Bitcoin and I would receive $1,000 for it. And depending on the market conditions, I'm probably going to loan out that USD that I get. Or I might take the $1,000 and rather than lending it out, I might just get 5.3% interest on it by lending it out on Bitrue. And by the way, guys, I've done a full review on Bitrue in the past. So if you're interested in learning more about Bitrue, I'll include a link in the description box below, or you can click the upper right-hand corner of your screen to access that video review. And I've done the math on it. Given the rates that Nexo and Bitrue is providing, it's not going to cost me more than $10, $15 a month to get an extra $3,000 worth of exposure to Bitcoin. I've taken the proper precautions in case, the trade goes against me. But if I'm right and we rally into the halvening, I'm very happy with spending $10, $15 a month to get an extra $3,000 worth of exposure to Bitcoin. Plus, I'll have $1,000 worth of Bitcoin earning 5.3% interest. And let's say Bitcoin doubles from here. By spending, $10, $15 a month, I'll probably end up making $3,000 minus, a little bit in fees. I'll make sure to keep you guys posted. If you guys wanted to see an update video, again, make sure you guys go ahead, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and take the time to comment down below. What do you think about my strategy? Do you think it's going to work? Do you think it's not going to work? Or maybe you have a strategy that works better than this. Whatever your input is, whether it's good, indifferent, bad, I strongly recommend that you share that comment down below. With that being said, this is CryptoOneStop signing out. I'll talk to you folks next time. Bye.